When you walk away with dignity, you're not just leaving the room or the relationship, you're making a statement. It's a silent declaration of your worth, a message that says, I know what I bring to the table and I'm not afraid to sit alone. That kind of self-assurance doesn't go unnoticed. For men, it's an energy they can't ignore. There's something about a woman who values herself enough to step back gracefully without bitterness or unnecessary drama. It's not about being cold or indifferent. It's about knowing when to remove yourself from situations that no longer serve you. You see, dignity is powerful, it's magnetic. When you walk away with your head held high, it changes the narrative. Instead of begging for attention or trying to fix things that are broken, you're saying, I respect myself too much to stay where I'm not valued. And that decision leaves a lasting impression. Men are wired to know the strength, even if they don't admit it. The quiet confidence of a woman who knows her worth challenges them on a level they may not even understand. When you walk away with grace, it shifts the focus. Suddenly, it's not about what you did or didn't do, it's about the void your absence creates. Your dignity speaks louder than any words ever could. It says, I'm not going to fight for someone who isn't willing to meet me halfway. That kind of resolve stirs something deep in a man. It makes him reflect. It makes him question his own actions. And most importantly, it makes him wonder if he's just let something rare and valuable slip through his fingers. This isn't about playing games or trying to manipulate someone into coming back. It's about living authentically, standing firm in your value, and letting your actions speak for you. When you choose dignity, you're not just choosing yourself, you're teaching others how to treat you. And in doing so, you become unforgettable. Sometimes the most powerful way to remind someone of your worth is simply to walk away and let them see what life is like without you. And when you walk away, one of the most powerful things you give a man is space to reflect, to process, and to understand what your presence truly meant. See, when you're always available, it's easy to become part of the background noise. People, not just men, often take for granted what's constantly accessible. But when you remove yourself, when you stop engaging, it creates a gap, a noticeable shift in energy. And that space is where realization begins to take root. They need time to process their emotions differently than women. While we often want to talk it out, analyze every detail, they tend to withdraw, think internally, and sort through their feelings at their own pace. When you step back, you're giving them exactly what they need to see things clearly. You're not forcing the conversation or demanding answers. You're allowing the situation to unfold naturally. And in that stillness, they start to reflect. He begins to ask himself questions. Why does it feel so different now? Why do I miss her laugh, her kindness, her presence? That's the beauty of creating space that highlights what was once overlooked. And more often than not, this reflection leads to a deeper understanding of your value. He starts to recognize that what you brought to his life wasn't ordinary. But here's the key, you're not waiting for him to figure it out. This isn't about pausing your life in hopes that he'll have an epiphany. It's about focusing on you, your growth, and your journey. The space you create isn't just for him, it's for yourself as well. It's a chance to reconnect with who you are outside of the relationship, to rediscover your passions, and to grow stronger in your independence. And in that process, something remarkable happens. The energy shifts. When he feels that you're not just walking away but thriving in your own space, it draws him back in. He realizes that you're not dependent on him for your happiness. And that realization is both humbling and magnetic. By creating space, you're not just giving him a chance to reflect, you're giving yourself the opportunity to rise. And that's a power no one can resist. When you walk away with confidence, it's not just a physical act, it's a psychological shift that rewires the dynamic of the relationship. Confidence isn't just about how you carry yourself, it's about the energy you radiate, the belief you hold in your own worth, and the boundaries you set for how others treat you. That energy doesn't go unnoticed, it lingers, it resonates, and it leaves a lasting impact. Men are drawn to confidence in a way that's almost instinctive. When you walk away without fear or hesitation, it sends a powerful message. You're not defined by his presence, and your happiness doesn't hinge on his validation. That kind of self-assurance is rare and it's captivating. It makes a man pause and rethink how he's approached you because suddenly the script has changed. You're no longer seeking his attention or approval. Instead, you're standing firm in who you are. Confidence is magnetic because it challenges insecurities. When you walk away with your head held high, it's not about arrogance or proving a point. It's about knowing your value and refusing to settle for anything less. That self-assuredness can inspire admiration, but it can also stir a sense of regret. He starts to wonder, did I misjudge her? Did I underestimate what she brought to my life? And those questions plant the seed for a shift in perspective. It's also worth noting that confidence is contagious. When you believe in your own worth, it subtly encourages others to see you through the same lens. It's not about convincing anyone of your value. It's about living in such a way that your value is undeniable. Men respect a woman who respects herself. And when you walk away with that kind of quiet strength, it commands attention. But here's the thing about confidence, it has to come from within. It's not about putting on a show or pretending to feel secure when you're not. True confidence comes from knowing who you are, what you deserve, and being unapologetic about it. When you embody that, it creates an energy that's impossible to ignore. Walking away with confidence isn't just a strategy, it's a reflection of the deep self-respect you carry. And that respect, more than anything, is what makes a lasting impression. When you walk away, you're not just stepping back physically, you're allowing the natural law of attraction to take hold. It's about energy, about creating space where curiosity and intrigue can grow. People often underestimate the power of being unavailable. When you remove your presence, especially when it's been a consistent and meaningful part of someone's life, you create a void that's hard to ignore. That absence, it speaks louder than words ever could. Here's the thing, when someone can't easily access you, their perception of you starts to shift. What was once taken for granted becomes something to wonder about. It's human nature to want what seems just out of reach. Walking away and staying silent stirs a deep psychological response. It's not about manipulation, it's about letting someone recognize your value on their own terms, in their own time. The mystery of your absence does something profound. It makes him wonder, what is she doing? Who is she becoming without me? Did I misjudge what she brought into my life? That curiosity plants a seed, and as time passes, it begins to grow. He starts to remember the small things, your kindness, your laugh, the way you supported him without asking for much in return. Absence makes those memories sharper, more vivid, and suddenly your value is no longer up for debate. But this is where patience comes in. Creating mystery isn't about playing games or forcing someone to miss you. It's about giving the situation the space it needs to unfold naturally. It's about stepping back, focusing on your own growth, and letting the energy you've left behind do the talking. You're not chasing, you're not explaining, and you're not pleading for attention. Instead, you're standing firm in your worth, knowing that true value doesn't need constant reminders. And when the time comes, if it comes, for him to reach out, it won't be because you pushed, it'll be because he realized on his own what he stood to lose. That realization, born out of curiosity and the pull of your absence, is far more powerful than anything words could ever convey. Sometimes the best way to be heard is through the silence of walking away. When you walk away, you're not just showing someone that they can't have you, you're showing them that you can stand on your own, that you don't need anyone to define your worth. There's something incredibly powerful about the moment where you stop chasing, stop needing, and just let go. It's not about pride or ego. It's about knowing that your life and happiness are not dependent on anyone else. That kind of self-sufficiency is something that men can't ignore. When a man sees that you're okay without him, when he realizes that you don't need him to complete you or make you feel valuable, it creates a deep sense of respect. You've shown him that you're not a woman who will settle for less, and you've made it clear that you won't accept being treated like an option. This act of walking away isn't about closing doors. It's about showing him that you have your own life, your own goals, and your own sense of fulfillment. This is where the balance of emotional detachment comes into play. It's not about cutting them off completely or playing hard to get. It's about reclaiming your energy and not giving it away so freely. When you stop emotionally investing in someone who isn't giving you the same in return, it allows you to conserve your energy and put it toward things that truly matter. You become more focused on your own growth and well-being. That creates a magnetic pull. And respect a woman who values herself enough to walk away when the relationship isn't adding to her life. They can sense it. And while they may test your boundaries, it's ultimately that very strength and self-worth that will make them reconsider how they've treated you. They'll start to see you in a new light, not as someone who needs validation, but as someone who is whole on her own. That recognition isn't something you have to force. It happens naturally when you stop seeking attention and start focusing on your own life. So walking away isn't a sign of weakness or giving up. It's a powerful declaration of your own self-worth. It's a statement that you know what you deserve and you're not willing to settle for anything less. When you can walk away with that kind of clarity, it shifts the entire dynamic. It forces him to ask himself, am I willing to let her go? Is she someone I want to lose? And in that moment, you've not only gained his respect, you've reclaimed your power. When you walk away, you also create an opportunity for emotional growth for both of you. You might feel it in the moment as pain or discomfort, but it's in those moments of discomfort where transformation happens. Often we get so attached to the idea of the relationship that we forget to step back and ask ourselves, is this relationship adding to my life? Is it fulfilling me emotionally, mentally, and spiritually? When you walk away, you're giving yourself the chance to reflect and answer these questions honestly, without the noise of the relationship clouding your judgment. Sometimes men take things for granted, especially when they are used to always having you around. When you make the decision to walk away, it forces him to confront his own feelings. He can no longer rely on your availability. The absence of your presence begins to make him think deeper about what he had and how he treated it. But more importantly, it gives him the space he needs to miss you in a real emotional way. This emotional space is powerful. It's in the distance that the realization hits him I could lose her. She's not just a constant presence I need to show her that I value her, or she'll move on without me. That fear of loss can often reignite the desire to reach out, to reconnect, to fix what was broken. But here's the key: walking away doesn't guarantee that he will come back, nor should it. The goal isn't to force anyone into a position of regret. The goal is to prioritize yourself, your feelings, and your emotional needs, and in doing so, you create space for the relationship if it's meant to be, to evolve and grow. In the absence of this constant emotional proximity, he's forced to feel the emotional weight of your departure. And that weight can create a shift. He may begin to recognize that the relationship was never just about the moments you spent together, but the way you brought stability, understanding, and emotional depth to the connection. When he sees that, he starts to reassess whether or not he's willing to let go of someone who brought so much value into his life. But walking away also forces you to grow. It challenges you to let go of the fears that often drive us to hold on to relationships that aren't serving us. It teaches you to trust yourself and your instincts. In those moments of walking away, you are practicing self-love in its truest form. You're saying to yourself, I'm worthy of respect. I'm worthy of love. I'm worthy of a relationship that elevates me, not drains me. And in doing so, you are sending a message not just to him, but to yourself, that you will no longer settle for anything less than what you deserve. So when you walk away, it's not just about him coming back. It's about you rediscovering your own power, your own strength, and your own ability to create the life and love that you deserve. It's about trusting that the right things will come into your life when you make space for them. You are giving yourself permission to grow beyond the situation. And that growth in and of itself is a powerful act of self-love and self-respect. When you walk away, it sends a clear message about your self-worth. It's an assertion that you value yourself too much to tolerate less than what you deserve. Now, I want to emphasize here that this is not about being prideful or playing games. This is about acknowledging your inherent value as a person and refusing to accept anything that compromises that value. Too often we find ourselves in situations where we're constantly giving, constantly nurturing, constantly trying to prove our worth. We think if we just keep giving a little more, they'll see our value. But the truth is, people value what they have to work for, what they might lose. So when you choose to walk away, it shifts the dynamic. You're no longer available to simply be a part of someone's life without effort, without appreciation, without reciprocation. The moment you remove yourself from the equation, it forces him to confront the fact that your presence is not a given. You're showing him that you will not be treated like an option, and you certainly won't be ignored. This act, walking away, puts the power back in your hands. It shows him that your time, your energy, and your love are valuable, and that's something to be taken for granted. But there's another layer to this as well. When you walk away, you're telling him that you have enough respect for yourself to know when enough is enough. You're not clinging, you're not begging, and you're not chasing. This isn't about playing hard to get. It's about letting go of the fear of losing someone and trusting that what's meant for you will come back to you. Walking away is a conscious choice to put yourself first, to set boundaries that honor who you are and what you need in a relationship. You're showing that your emotional needs aren't negotiable. You're showing that you won't settle for crumbs when you deserve a feast. This shift is critical for him to understand. It's not a manipulation tactic. It's a way to regain your power and remind them that you're not here to be an afterthought. And here's the interesting thing: when you walk away and refuse to settle for anything less than full emotional investment, that's when the respect truly starts to grow. Because now you've become someone he can't take for granted. He starts to see you in a different light, not as someone who will always be around, but as someone who commands respect and love. But remember, walking away doesn't mean you're closing the door forever. It means you're not desperate. It means you're not afraid of being alone or walking away if that's what it takes to maintain your peace and self-respect. You're showing that you trust yourself enough to know that if it's meant to work out, it will. If he values you, he will realize that you are the kind of person worth putting in the effort for. When you walk away, you're reclaiming your power. You're reminding both him and yourself that you're worthy of love, respect, and commitment. And if he doesn't see that, then he's not the right one for you. But if he does, you've given him the space to miss you and recognize your value. And that, my friend, is when he'll come running back. But only this time it won't be because you've chased him. It will be because he's realized that he almost lost something truly priceless. When you walk away, you stop settling for the crumbs of affection or attention that you've been receiving. You stop accepting situations that don't serve your worth or align with your vision for the future. This doesn't happen overnight, and it doesn't come without pain or uncertainty. But in that moment of walking away, you stand up for the future you're building, one that's grounded in your own sense of value and purpose. Now, I want to speak to the power of this decision because what you're really doing is redefining your narrative. For too long, many of us have been conditioned to believe that the only way to feel valued is to stay within unhealthy patterns or tolerate behavior that diminishes us. Society sometimes teaches us that love is supposed to be hard work and that we need to prove our worthiness. But when you walk away, you are saying loud and clear that you will no longer subscribe to that belief. Walking away doesn't mean you're weak. It means you're strong enough to let go of what's not meant for you. It means you've reached a place of emotional maturity where you realize your happiness and sense of self cannot be tied to someone else's actions or decisions. It is not a rejection of love. Rather, it is a rejection of the things that compromise your peace. And when you do this, you begin to let go of the fear that has kept you stuck for so long. Fear of being alone, fear of not being enough, or fear of losing something that wasn't meant for you in the first place. Here's the thing: when you walk away, it forces both you and the person you're walking away from to confront the reality of the relationship. It shakes things up. It shifts the dynamic. In that space of absence, you give both yourself and them the opportunity to reflect on what has been and what could have been. The space you create allows room for clarity and a deeper understanding of what truly matters. It's not about playing games, it's about forcing change through action. By walking away, you create a boundary. And boundaries are not walls to shut people out. They are lines in the sand that communicate to others how you expect to be treated. You are telling the universe that you are no longer willing to accept mediocrity and that you are committed to your own growth. You are saying, I am worthy of the love, respect, and effort I've been giving, and I deserve to receive it in return. When you communicate this through your actions, you set a new standard for yourself. And you make it clear that you won't settle for anything less than someone who truly sees you for the incredible person you are. And while it may be difficult in the moment, especially when emotions are running high, understand that the act of walking away is one of the most empowering things you can do for yourself. It's a statement of self-love and respect. You are prioritizing your well-being over the fleeting comfort of a relationship that may not be right for you. The pain of walking away now will pale in comparison to the joy of reclaiming your worth, rediscovering your independence, and being open to healthier, more fulfilling connections in the future. The beauty of walking away is that it doesn't just impact the person you've left behind. It changes you. It transforms you. It teaches you that you are enough as you are and that your life does not revolve around anyone's approval or validation. And the more you walk away from what no longer serves you, the clearer your path becomes. You begin to realize that true love and connection come from a place of mutual respect, not from fear, insecurity, or settling. In the end, walking away isn't about rejection, it's about creating space for the right energy to enter your life. When you step back and give yourself the freedom to choose what's best for you, you set the stage for real love, real growth, and real happiness. So let the space you create be a reminder that you are worthy of a love that complements your life, not complicates it. When you walk away, you let go of what holds you back, and you make room for what's truly meant for you. When you walk away, you begin to regain control over your life. This is not about losing something, it's about reclaiming your power. Often we get caught in the illusion that our worth is tied to another person, to a relationship, or to their validation of us. But the truth is, the moment you choose to walk away, you step into a place of autonomy where you control your own happiness and direction. You're not waiting for someone to define your worth. Instead, you are choosing to define it for yourself, independent of outside validation. The process of walking away is often seen as a loss, but it's really an opportunity to reset your life on your terms. You're giving yourself the space to rediscover who you are without the influence of someone who doesn't fully appreciate you. When you remove someone from your life who's not treating you the way you deserve, you're choosing to prioritize your peace over the false comfort of a toxic relationship. You're telling yourself that your peace is more important than maintaining a relationship that isn't helping you grow. Now, this is difficult. It's hard to walk away because we've all been taught to hold on, to fight for love, and to be loyal at all costs. But we have to remember that loyalty starts with yourself. If you're loyal to someone who's not reciprocating, who's not valuing you in the way that you should be valued, you're only doing a disservice to yourself. Walking away is the greatest act of self-respect and self-love that you can offer yourself. You're saying that you will no longer tolerate the actions of someone who doesn't see your worth, and instead, you choose to see your own worth with clarity. And when you walk away, you are also walking towards something better, towards a version of yourself that is whole, complete, and unafraid of standing alone. You may feel vulnerable or uncertain in that space, but understand that this is a space where growth happens. It's in these moments of solitude that you get to rediscover your passions, reconnect with your goals, and realign your life with your values. You get to choose your own path, and you get to set the pace. The truth is, sometimes we need to walk away to find ourselves again. We've all been through situations where we've lost ourselves in a relationship or a situation, where we've sacrificed parts of our identity to keep someone else happy. But when you walk away, you break free from that cycle. You reclaim the pieces of you that were lost and begin the journey of becoming the best version of yourself without relying on someone else to validate that journey. The moment you walk away, you also create room for something better to come into your life. Often we hold on to situations because we're afraid of being alone, of not finding someone else, of losing what we've invested in a relationship. But what we don't realize is that when we let go of what's no longer serving us, we create the space for new, better things to come into our lives, things that align with who we are now, not who we were when we were compromising ourselves. And that's when life begins to work for you, not against you. Walking away is also a lesson in self-respect. It teaches you that you will no longer stay in situations that diminish your value. And the more you practice this, the more you begin to attract people and experiences that respect and value you in the way you deserve. People will see that you're no longer willing to settle, and they'll start to treat you accordingly. In walking away, you teach yourself and others that your value is non-negotiable. You are no longer the person who waits for others to change or to see your worth. You are the person who sets standards for how you expect to be treated. And when those standards aren't met, you walk away with your head held high, knowing that you have made the right choice for your well-being. So let walking away be the catalyst for your transformation. Let it be the moment when you take back control of your life and stop living for someone else's approval. Remember that your life, your happiness, and your peace are more important than holding on to something that isn't meant for you. When you walk away, you're not giving up, you're making a powerful statement that you are worthy of better, and you are ready to receive it. When you walk away, you send a message not just to the other person, but to yourself. You're telling yourself that you are worthy of respect, love, and honesty. It's a declaration of your own value, your own worth. And this isn't just a message for now, it's a message for your future. You're setting a standard that this is how you expect to be treated from this point forward, not just by this person, but by everyone who enters your life. When you walk away, you stop being a doormat. You stop being the person who allows their needs to go unspoken or ignored. You stop being the one who sacrifices their happiness and peace for someone else's comfort. Walking away isn't about making the other person feel guilty. It's about recognizing your own strength and your right to choose the relationships you engage in. It's about refusing to settle for less than you deserve and knowing that you don't need to fight for someone's affection or attention. If they don't see you for the person you are, then they don't deserve to have you in their life. And this is where the power truly lies within you. You are the one who holds the power to decide who stays in your life and who doesn't. It doesn't matter what anyone else thinks or says. It doesn't matter if they try to guilt you into coming back. It doesn't matter if they try to make you believe that you're being too harsh or too emotional. What matters is that you are protecting your peace, your happiness, and your well-being. Walking away is the ultimate act of self-care, and it is not selfish, it's necessary. You're also teaching others how to treat you. When you walk away from someone who hasn't been treating you right, you set a boundary. You show that you have standards and that those standards will not be lowered to accommodate someone else's lack of effort. People begin to understand that when you walk away, you are not going to tolerate disrespect or dishonesty. They see you as someone who knows their worth, and they start to respect you more, whether they want to or not. And this creates a ripple effect in your life. The more you walk away from what doesn't serve you, the more respect you will garner from those who truly matter. But beyond how others see you, walking away gives you a chance to truly connect with yourself again. Sometimes we get so caught up in the noise of relationships or the expectations of others that we lose sight of our own desires, needs, and dreams. Walking away allows you to refocus. It gives you the space to reconnect with who you are at the core. You can begin to reflect on what you truly want in your life, the things that bring you joy, peace, and fulfillment. You're not bogged down by the chaos of an unhealthy relationship or the weight of someone else's actions. You are free to become the person you've always wanted to be. This freedom that comes with walking away also opens doors to new possibilities. When you let go of something that's been draining your energy, you make room for something better to enter your life. You create space for people who will value you, for opportunities that align with your goals, and for experiences that will help you grow. But you must first make room for this new energy by letting go of what no longer fits. Now, it's important to remember that walking away doesn't necessarily mean you're closing the door forever. Sometimes walking away is just what's needed to create the space for both people to grow. It's a way of showing the other person that things need to change for the relationship to evolve. But in the meantime, walking away gives you the freedom to focus on your own growth, your own healing, and your own journey. When you do this, you allow the other person the time and space to reflect on their own actions. And maybe, just maybe, they'll realize what they've lost and take the necessary steps to improve themselves. At the end of the day, walking away is an act of strength, not weakness. It's a way of putting yourself first, of showing the world that you are not afraid to let go of something that isn't right for you. It's a powerful message to the universe that you believe in your own worth and that you won't settle for less than what you deserve. So the next time you're faced with the decision to walk away, know that it is not a sign of failure. It is a sign of personal power. And the moment you do it, you'll realize that you're not losing anything at all. You are gaining everything you deserve. And in that space, you will thrive.